when Russia captured Crimea, it was not so good for people who had business before, and for people who begin to work. It was like tough time. But I still have this dream that I will be an artist. And I decided this on that moment because I spent so much time with myself, and I can ask me what I want to do on this life. And I decided that I'll be an artist. And I know that if you have a big dream, you can see it even when you clean toilets or doing something, because you have this goal and you know where you go. You're not like lost in this world, and you have some direction.
What's going on? This is Scott DeVore with the Free Factor podcast. I have a very special guest today, Julia Ivanisova. Julia, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, Scott. Hi, everybody.
I'm glad you could be here. I just practiced your name off camera about 20 times. I hopefully I said it correctly.
You said it correctly.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I want to talk about Julia. Just like most guests on the show, one was my best friend who I've known for almost 40 years. A lot of business owners I've met with. I do a lot in music. I promote some events, and some I get some musical guests on my show. But you're a unique guest because I met you actually in the bathroom cleaning a toilet. And I can't say I've met most of my guests in that same fashion. We'll get into that crazy story, but thank you again for being here. And I want to share a little bit as we get started about your story. So you're from Ukraine.
Yeah.
And you're not in Ukraine anymore. You're in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
I want you to share kind of what the journey was from going from the Ukraine to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I never have this American dream. I even not think about living in America. But in one day in my country begin war, we wake up and we understand that all our dreams, all our plans is destroyed because we hear missiles everywhere. We was attack, bombing. And if somebody tell me this maybe 1 year before, I never think that it can happen. It was so big surprise, and it was so unexpected. We think that maybe it's ending after a few days. I begin to share all this in social media. All Ukrainians doing this. We all think that if world understand what's happened in our country, they see this and they say, stop, don't do this for people. But it's not happened. And I post many stories in my Instagram. I doing some art about this, post this too, try to like call for somebody, but they don't listen us. And in one moment, I understood that I should leave my parents and move somewhere because they don't want to leave their houses. It's so difficult for older people. And I moved to another part from Ukraine because we was in the most dangerous area. We was so attacked that nobody even leaves their buildings. Only my mom who feed cats. Because it was super important for her to feed these pets. Because when people leave Ukraine, sometimes they cannot take pets with them, and many cats and dogs only go to the street and don't have nothing to eat. And my mom really take care of them, and even if it was so dangerous, she's still doing all this stuff. And especially my grandparents, they don't want to leave too. That's why I will do this for myself. Because in the moment when war began, I was separated with my husband. He was in already occupied territory. Because our war in Ukraine not begin on this year. It have some beginning a few years ago when Russia captured some of Ukrainians' territory. And on that moment, I thought that it's the worst what's happened in my life. Because on the time I even meet my husband, I fall in love, and we all live in Ukraine. And when Russia captured this territory with him, it was so difficult for me. I always crying. I try to understand how we can be together, and I every 3 months I come to Crimea, where he have a house where where we can live. But I never take Russian citizenship, and that's why every 3 months, even if it's winter, even if it's cold, I take my bag and with my suitcase I come maybe 1 kilometer because we have so bad this Ukraine and this occupied territory and this border. It was terrible. They always like ask you some questions, ask you to show them your phone, and it always was so dangerous. And all years what we live in Crimea, I feel this bad feeling that I cannot live like regular life because I don't want to take Russian citizenship. But after this, I come to visit my parents, and next time, and war begin. And we cannot meet each other with my husband because he was in occupied territory and I was in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And 3 months we think that maybe it can end and we meet each other. But in one moment we understand that it's not ending, and we should to choose some opportunity to be together, to build our life, to build some new dreams, and we decided to move to America.
Wow, man, that's quite an introduction, and I would love to ask some more questions to get some more of the details about it. So did your parents, they live in Kiev or
Kharkiv.
Okay,
It's the border with Russia.
okay, so there's been conflict for a long time,
Yes.
right? So the USSR that broke up, I think in the
Yes.
90s. I forget exactly.
Yeah,
when.
in the year when I born, it's
So you were born.
1992.
So do you remember any of that? You remember the
No.
old communist states?
No. I born when Ukraine have independence. On this
Okay.
year I born.
Okay. Wow, the same year?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great.
But
time to be
but
born.
I feel this like pressure from Russia when I live in Crimea.
Yeah.
Because it not so freedom like in America when you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Right. So there's a lot of reasons, and we won't get into kind of the reasons for the war or anything like that, but it's just a very unfortunate, sad thing. Because I never dealt with it directly, but like my mom, she's from Vietnam, and she grew up during a war from the North Vietnam invading to South Vietnam. She's from Saigon, and it actually turned out really bad where the South Vietnamese lost. The U.S. pulled out their support, and millions of Vietnamese people got relocated to the U.S. Fortunately, because those who didn't, they were facing unknown circumstances if they're going to be thrown in jail or even killed and things like that. So my mom, she was very fortunate. She was a teenager at the time where she got to, her family was allowed to be transported here to the U.S. And, she's, after many years, she eventually became a citizen. I was born. I won't go through her whole story. But as I've learned more about you, I was like reflecting on those things and just thinking, man, I don't know exactly how old you are, but I can imagine that just, having to deal with that at any age, you're just living life and enjoying it. And then, like you said, the bombs and the explosions, and then life changed so fast. What was was there any like program that allowed you to come to the U.S.? Like,
Yes.
how did you find out about that?
It's You for You, United for Ukraine, and we should have some sponsor here, somebody who take care of us or have some responsibility if something happened with us during 2 years. And if we find somebody, we can come here. And only one my relatives who I have abroad is my aunt who live here, and she proposed me to do this.
Okay.
And how we come here.
Oh, wow, that's great. So how long has your aunt been here in the U.S.?
Oh, it's a long time because she married here.
Okay.
And she have a husband here. Maybe it's 10 years or something like this.
Yeah. I mean, I've met numerous people from Ukraine over the years, and you said that you didn't really have the American dream. You weren't really
Yeah.
seeking to come here, and most Ukrainians that I've met over the years, just really good people, good citizens, love America. And I'm not saying that you didn't have any desire for anything like that. But what I guess how long did the process take? Was it quick? Did it take
For
some
me, it
time?
was Kivik. I'm very blessed person. I don't know why, but it's not take so long for time for us. We even decide maybe it was some months and we already go. I don't have some things to take with me because when I leave my home, it was so dangerous. It was bombing, and of course I don't take nothing. I take some papers with my art
Yeah.
and some stuff like socks, something like this, but nothing. And my husband takes some few stuffs. And now, when I thought about this moment, I think we should to take something another stuff. I don't know why we take all the stupid stuff. It was so fast. We even like decide with him, and we already in Poland sit to this fly. This 3 days in Poland, and we sit to the fly, and we was like two zombie in a plane, like, oh, what's happened with us, with America? It was so big stress.
Yeah.
But now I like America too so much. I understand this American dream now. I don't know why I don't dream about this before. Maybe I don't understand how America is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what was your childhood like in growing up and where you did?
To be honest, I'm very blessed. It was nice. We was not super rich or something like this, but I really have so good family.
Was it a big city? Small
It was
town?
Kharkiv. It was a big city in Kharkiv. We have 1 million people there, and we don't have computer on this time. We spend all our time in the yard with my friends. We doing sometimes some stupid stuff, but it was so nice.
Yeah.
And I have my parents. My mom take care of me. She don't work when I was little, and she always play with me. She doing some creative stuff with me. My aunt live on that time in Ukraine too. She like drawing with me, and maybe because they spend so many times to do something creative with me. Maybe that's why I'm so creative person now.
Yeah. Yeah. Your husband, so he's from Crimea,
Yes.
and so Russia invaded Georgia before Crimea. I'm assuming I don't recall all the dates.
I think this is some few years after or before, but it's some the same time.
Okay. And your husband, so you guys you didn't like when you made the decision, you found the program, it happened pretty quick.
Oh, no, he has Ukrainian citizenship too.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's possible.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. So
Yeah,
he was just
he
living in
Ukrainian.
Crimea, but
Yeah.
he's Ukrainian.
No, all Crimea's people, they still have Ukrainian citizenship too.
Okay.
But some of them have Russian too.
Gotcha.
And it's
Gotcha.
very tough to don't have Russian citizenship if you have some like house or something, because they can like capture this if you don't take this citizenship. But if you don't have some real estate or something, you can, like me, come only like all 3 months. You cross this border.
Gotcha. Were you working? Were you a student? Like what were you
Yeah.
doing with your life
And
during this time?
that's why it's a very good questions. Because when you don't have citizenship, you cannot work. And that's why when I graduated like engineer, on this moment, Russia captured Crimea. And of course, it was more important for me to be with my husband, who was not husband on that time. He was really a guy who I loved. And I decided to move there, even if I cannot work there, live some kind of life. And in this moment, I have so many time for myself, and I begin to paint in the little rocks. And some tourists begin to buy these rocks. I put them in the yard, and one tourist takes this rock and put little money. And I was so happy. And I think, oh, it's so big blessing to doing what
you're
you.
a paid artist.
Yeah, I'm paid artist. I can do this, and it was like first my canvas. It was little rocks, and we don't have so many money. That's why I have super many canvas always. And I have little brushes, so not so many paint, but I try to do something for myself because we don't have money for that. I study somewhere to be an artist. It was tough because when Russia captured Crimea, it was not so good for people who had business before, and for people who begin to work. It was like tough time, and. But I still have this dream that I will be an artist, and I decide this on that moment because I spent so much time with myself, and I can ask me what I want to do on this life, and I decide that I'll be an artist.
Awesome.
But
That's
when I think now how my art was on time when I decided to be an artist, it was awful. It was not so good. I don't know why I was so confident on this moment and how I decided, but I decided.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you did decide, and we're going to talk a lot about the art. But first, we got to talk about your job working as a janitor and cleaning. I'm Scott DeVore with DeVore Capital. We are a multi-service construction, real estate, and development company. We do services from ground-up development to roofing services to real estate transactions. Reach out to us at 8444-DeVore or at the website link below.
Yeah.
So you guys get to the U.S.
Yes.
and how long was it when you got here, where you then started working as in cleaning? How long? Like, what was the time frame?
When we come in, we wait our work permit, and this 3 months we live with our relatives, and we help them with their businesses. They renovate houses, and I paint walls, doing some stuff what like workers on the when they repair houses they doing.
Mm-hmm.
It was very tough too because it's so hot here.
Yes.
And oh my God, it was terrible because we always was so sweaty, so tired, doing all this dirty stuff. But after 3 months, we have this work permit. And when I known that you have some opportunity, some work, some job here for cleaning, and you don't need to know some English, some another stuff, and I think, oh, maybe I will do this. Because when war, it really changed you. Maybe if it was before, I was like worried, too scary, do something like this. But when war began, in the first day, when it was this all bombing, and it was so like scary, but from another side, you really understand that like you feel you very alive. You really think so much what I'm doing here, why I worry about some stupid stuff. And I wrote for myself like letter that I never forget this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how hard it can be, but I still have some big power in myself.
Yeah.
And if I alive, I can do something. And when I hear about this opportunity, I think, oh, it's a good challenge for me. I come in.
Yeah, that's so inspiring. And what you said was, your perspective changed dealing with the war. I'm sure if you had to choose having to go through a war or not, most people probably would rather just have a peaceful life. But that's just not the way life works. Challenges are presented to everybody, and they can look completely different. You actually were presented with a war that uprooted you from your homeland, and your mindset of,
It's really
like
changes all.
change and taking
Mhm.
risk and going after it and being passionate about things. That's very inspiring because most people actually, when you think about it, those who don't deal with any adversity in life and they just live a very plain life, they don't go out and try things. Those are actually the people to feel sorry about. Yes, they could take initiative and go and explore and try something new or start a business or whatever it is. But generally, like what you said, because you went through it, you're not worried about the simple things anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, so what?
Yeah, I'm still alive and it's okay.
Yeah. And that actually reminds me of my mom too, because like I couldn't imagine what her childhood was like. She not only was divorced, she was adopted and all types of crazy
Oh.
stuff. And like for me, yeah, I grew up poor. We lived in the projects, and that's like government housing. We were on government
Mm.
assistance welfare and stuff like that. But it was, you know what, I'm gonna get over it. So like my whole life has been me pursuing um, to be successful, to grow, to make an impact. That's I've been driven like that for a really long time, and it starts from really the adversity that my mom, dealt with. So I'm glad you share that because that was extremely inspiring. But I just want to know when you took this job here, did you just see a job post and you're like, yeah, that looks easy. It's just cleaning. I don't, you don't need to speak English. Like,
Uh,
did someone refer you to it, or like it's just crazy how you ended up here.
yeah, when I first come to interview, they introduced to me our guy who was like our manager, and I absolutely don't understand him at all. All what he say, Paul, I don't
Mhm.
understand him absolutely. And even after this he put mask, and I think, oh no, I don't understand you now. But with mask, it's absolutely bad. Because when I come to US, I don't know why I can read on English, but I absolutely don't understand people. And he began to explain me something, and I was, oh my gosh, what he's saying. I tried to do some pictures. I could take some stuff, what's cleaning maybe toilet, and put photo with toilet. That it's for toilet, it's for mirror, it's for something. He helped me, but he cannot say something that I understand. And after this, it was very funny when they say that we give you, it's not phone, and when some razzia, or how it's named, when all customers have something and say, hello, hello,
Oh, on the intercom.
something like this, and they have idea to give us this stuff, and I think, oh, if they're doing this, I absolutely don't understand him,
Yeah.
because when he texted me, it was okay, but maybe after some months I begin understand him.
Okay.
Oh, it was so tough. And it was maybe one of the most challenging for me that I don't understand people. Because when you come here, I feel me like I'm a 3-year-old child what try to do some adult stuff. And I always try to explain something with my gestures, with some association.
Yes.
And it was so tough.
Well, I think I probably had some exchanges with you, just asking for something, and I think you're just gesturing. Um, but I just really want to praise the hard work that I observed all the time. You're cleaning toilets, working hard, you're vacuuming the hallways, you're working hard, you're mopping out there, working hard, coming in, changing the trash cans. I really respected that.
Oh, thank you.
And that's the thing that, a lot of people who come to the US for the opportunity. Obviously, you came here not really seeking the American dream, it was for other reasons, but you still worked hard and did the things that make Americans proud, like people who come to this country and respect it. So thank you very much for that, and I'm sure your husband equally has the same process, outlook, mindset. Um, let's transition into art because that's really your like your one of your strongest talents. So I didn't know you were an artist, but before I get to that, did were people generally like friendly, like trying to have conversations with you to get to know you, or were you just kind of quiet? Everyone else didn't really ask much.
It's interesting, but they was so friendly with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, but nobody be with me rude or something. I'm really meet so nice people in America. I don't know how it happened, but they was so supportive. And even you who invite me for this podcast, when I tell somebody that I go to podcast, they say, with your English, I say, yes, he invite me. It's just so big support. I feel it's every time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, but I was a little shy to say that I'm an artist because on that time I was somebody who cleaned toilets, and my art was in Crimea, what it was capture, and all my paintings there, and I'm like artist without art. I have some pieces with me on paper, what I take from Kharkiv, but the most of my art was there. And when I tell that I'm an artist, I was so shy because it was like I don't have something what I can show that I have here or something like this.
Yeah. Well, I think you've gotten to work because now you've made a lot. I mean, I don't know how extensive, how many art pieces you created before, but just from what I've observed on social media, because I didn't know you had that background until I followed you on Instagram. I'm like, oh wow, this is like amazing. The side of her, it was maybe the art with the toilet bowl seat cover. I love that piece. But then I'm on social media, I'm on Instagram, and I start seeing all these art pieces. I think you were getting ready to transition to the next job that you had. I think you're a dental assistant now, doing some social media. But how much has your social media helped you like get exposed or people find out about you? Because you've had art that now I've seen you like in New York with some of your art. We got this book here that you're featured in that shows some of your pieces. I mean, you're getting some recognition, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So did being on social media give you the opportunity where people saw it and they're like, hey, I want to know more about your story?
Yes, social media too. Because I can show something. Because when I tell I'm an artist and not show something, it's like not people not recognize this after, but when and not remember this. But if I can show something, it's really help. And with my social media, even when I was in Crimea, I already have social media. And it was the first that somebody recognized me, and I have some opportunity after my social media when one art studio asked me to be their like ambassador, and they proposed me to do in some project what they teach me this art studio father in Crimea, and they proposed me to teach me art during half of year. And after this, I do my personal exhibitions with them, and they show what they can, how they can teach somebody after half of year. And I work really so hard. I draw in so many sketches every day, maybe 20 sketches. I was like crazy. I have this dream. I think, oh, this opportunity for me, and I work so hard. And after this, because I don't have money to learn all this stuff. But I have my social media, and it's helped me on first moment.
Yeah.
And after this, I begin to have some exhibition in Crimea and Ukraine because of social media too. And when I come here, this gallery from New York, they followed me in social media, in Instagram. And when they post some post about exhibition, self-exhibition, I think, I cannot lose nothing. I wrote them. I say, I want this exhibition. Can I do this? And they already see my art, and they say, okay.
Wow.
And I think, oh, now it's a question only about money, but I still have this job. And when I clean toilets, I know that I count them and think, oh, it's for my ticket, it's for my ticket, it's for my exhibition. And I know that if you have a big dream, you can see it even when you clean toilets or doing something, because you have this goal and you know where you go. You're not like lost in this world, and you have some direction. And it's give you power always to do something.
Yeah.
Because you ask about social media too, and I begin to learn social media when I clean the toilets too, because I think it was more challenging for me that I spent 8 or more hours a day and not learn nothing, not do something what improve myself. Because I'm when I lived before in Ukraine, I always improve myself. I do in some sport. I read a lot. I like to improve myself, to do something. And here I think, oh my God, it's 8 hours when I don't do nothing. And after this, I bought AirPods, and my life began to change because I listen English. I listen about social media. I listen some useful stuff. Some English books. I understand half of this, but it's helped me to grow. And I begin to understand social media better. And when one day I come to fix my teeth, and it's funny because in Ukraine we have so not expensive dental, and it's not challenging for us. All people can come and do dental work all day. But here it's more expensive. And I so prepare me that I'm here, go to dentist, and maybe it was 1,000, and maybe we was broken after this. But I come, and it was dentists who have some Ukrainian roots, and it was so nice dentistry. And after this, I think I want to grateful them because I was so appreciated that they so helped me, was so supportive. And I share about this dental clinic, this modern dental, about my Instagram. And after this dentist who owns this dental wrote to me or call, I don't remember, and asked, we now only open, and we try to find somebody who will do our social media, and maybe you want to try. And on this moment, I not finish my classes, what I take about social media, and I say him this. But he say, it's okay, you can try, we see how it's work. And I begin. And it was so hard for me because all another girls in his office don't understand Ukrainian, and he know Ukrainian on that moment not so good, and it was so challenging for me. But I decided I cannot lose nothing. I'm still alive. I remember my letter for myself. I should to take this opportunity. And after this, he began to tell about me his friends. And it was more challenging because some of them I should to speak on phone. And when I don't see people, it like so hard for me to understand what they want. And I work with some yoga teacher. I work with some restaurant. I now work with Buket's shop, and I like this so much. And I still work here in a clinic, and I combine this with social media. I combine this with some works on the weekends when we paint our parking. Maybe you remember how it's begin to be better because I and Maria paint all these floors. And after this, I come to my home and begin doing some art because of this exhibition in New York. But one bad moment, I don't sleep because it was short time of the day. And I think if I sleep, I lost this time. And it's really was a very exhausted time.
Yeah, wow.
I am Will with DCRE, DeVore Capital Real Estate. We want to help you with your buying and selling real estate transactions. We know in the economy and the market that we have today, everybody is telling you that it is impossible to buy or to sell. We know that we can get the deal done. Give us a call at 844-4DeVore or hit the link below. Have a great day.
I want to touch on a couple of the things you said. You were pretty much like documenting like your life, like you're cleaning, and that by doing that, you're showing a side of you, your personal side. You're sharing it on social media, and it helps really kind of tell more of your story than if all you did was post pictures of like your sketches. So you're sharing your story, the cleaning, and and you can even tell from that the pride in it, and you're like letting the audience know, there's more to you than just like the art. Obviously, if people who are phenomenal artists, like that's a great thing, but you really understood that. And then when you shared about the experience with the dental work, just by doing it, all the opportunities that opened up from it. So you really understood how to kind of maximize the potential, with the social media and with the posting and just with sharing. Like I personally, sometimes I post more than I don't, but I've been like actively trying to do more. My cheat code is just trying to hire people to do it for me, but that helps a little bit. But I still, you still got to personally do it yourself. I want to move into kind of like your creative process. How you go about like when you're doing a piece of art, like what's the inspiration? What are you doing? Because you do. What type of art do you make?
Oh, I think now I made all different of art type. Because in Ukraine, I doing more like oil painting on canvas. During the war, I don't have this opportunity, and I doing like ink with paper or pen with paper, what I have. When they come here, I begin to do some collages because I met one woman who work with Andy Warhol, and she very helped me with be more confident with English because I begin take improv classes, and it so helped me. This Bob's Lab in Jacksonville, it's helped me so much. I'm so like this community, and they many of them is artists, and some of them doing collages. And maybe this reflect on me. Nobody say me, let's do collages with us. But maybe it somehow reflect on me. And I don't know this right word or no. But it's like have some influence for me. And I begin to do collages too. And now after big, I don't do oil painting, maybe 2 years. But now I have piece. One guy asked me about this piece, and I do this now for him with sunflowers. And I begin to do oil paintings after this big period. What I don't do in this, I don't know. Sometimes something inspired me, and I doing some technique what can reflect what can show this in the art.
Yeah. What's the favorite art piece that you've ever done?
Maybe because now we speak so many about this work. I remember first what I remember is this work with toilet. Because when I see it, it's like remembering me that I'm so proud of myself that I'm doing this. But some of them I like too because I have another piece what capture my first morning in Jacksonville. When I come here after war, it was so like big inspiration for me to see all this. It was like not real. It was like some Pleasantville, this movie when people smiling, houses, and it was like not real. I say I can even imagine that it can happen with me. And I go to some running in the morning, and I want to capture this moment. And I have piece about this too. And some another pieces I'm very like what I do during the war. And some of they I already sell because I do in some charity exhibition here for my country because many of Ukrainians who leave country, we try to help somehow how we can. And especially for me, I try to sell my art sometimes and send this money to Ukraine. Sometimes we all, of course, send money like directly, but sometimes we have some project what help. And I really like one piece what I did. It was about like dove, what was inspired from Picasso. And I put all messages who people send me to support me like inside this dive. No. And I wrote all of them. And it was for me the big piece and very important because I feel this support when I see it. But now I already sold it.
Yeah.
And it was nice. Oh, and another one what I'm not selling never. It's about my mom with cats. And because it's like it's remembered me that you always should to, if you can, you always should to help somebody who needs this help. And it's big inspiration for me too. And now my mom have cancer, and I'm so upset about this because we're not together. We only speak on phone. And this piece is so important for me. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And this is some painful stuff for me, but I like this piece very much too.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds very inspiring, the piece about your mom and the cats and her helping the cats and making sure they're looked over, even though there's this war going on and things are blowing up all around. I could definitely see how sentimental that piece is to you. I want to ask about, you and your husband seem to travel a lot.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you guys are always going places. He seems like the Instagram husband, following you around, taking the pictures. He does a really good job. I don't know if he enjoys that or not. Fortunately, I don't have to do that with my wife. She doesn't want to be on social media. What are some of the favorite places that you travel to? And then, is there any inspiration from that you've gotten from the places? Because you seem like you've been everywhere.
Yeah, we've been in 11 states already. And it's one of my favorite things to travel because I think that we know like ourselves more when we attend some new places. We see like another side of yourself, and you see another people, another culture, something another, and it's always like you grow through this. I feel this for myself. And I have maybe two my favorite places in America. First, it was our first travel. It was New York, because maybe it was like my super big dream, and this was my exhibition, and it was this Manhattan, and I was like really in fairy tale. It was the best what I can imagine for myself how it can happen for me, and I was like in a dream. But after this, I saw like in Arizona, they have this place, Sedona. I think it's in Arizona, no, in Utah. Sedona, and this like red mountains. And I have so good feeling there. It was like, they have some vortex, some I can't explain what this means. Vortex. It's when some sand from the floor. It like doing some.
Oh yeah, with the wind and it goes up.
Yeah, and it's like place of power. All people say this, and I really feel this too.
Yeah.
But I like all my traveling. To be honest, when we come somewhere, I so inspired about this, and I feel every minute when we spend somewhere, I try to take all the moments of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy traveling too, not as much as you. I love going to New York. My family loves going, my daughters. We go about twice a year. And the last time I was there, I went to the Banksy Museum, which I really love. Banksy's my favorite artist. And I just love, just his rebel kind of, he just goes to places. He does a lot of stencil art with, a stencil and spray paint. But I don't know. I wasn't like on my dad's side was very artistic. Like my grandfather was very artistic. My dad was very artistic. And I think I was artistic when I was young. But then when my parents divorced, I didn't live with my dad. I lived with my mom. I think I didn't really explore the creativity and actually drawing. I think I explored in other ways, my creativity. But yeah, New York's a great place. Have you been to California?
Yes.
Yeah. Los Angeles. Have you been to Southern?
Yes.
Yeah. I love Southern. I love LA. I don't know if you follow.
Yeah, I see.
I don't know if you follow baseball, but I lived there for like 3 years, and I just really enjoyed it. I would still live in LA if it wasn't the most expensive place in the world to live, and if it wasn't a crazy place. But you can't beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville is actually a really underrated city, meaning a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot to offer here. There's art murals everywhere. It's flat. There's no mountains or anything like that, like Sedona, like you were mentioning. But we have beautiful rivers. We have the beach. Last night was this full moon. I don't know if you were watching the moon. It was crazy just how big and bright the moon was. But I love this area. What do you like about Jacksonville? I mean, you've lived in another part of the world. You've visited some states. What do you like the most about the city of Jacksonville?
Oh, it's funny, but now the most what I like in Jacksonville is my surrounding people. And it was funny because it was not from the first day that I'm so fell in love in Jacksonville. Sometimes when I spend all my time in working, I feel like in Jacksonville I always working. I'm tired, and when I go to travel somewhere, I like compare it, like Jacksonville and these states, And I was so good looking there, doing some photos, doing some art, attend museums. And after this, I returned to Jacksonville and I begin hard working all time. And it's reflected for me. And I begin think, oh, if Jacksonville it's right for me, or it's good time, maybe it's better some another. And I always think about this. But I never can try something, some states, what I really want to move. And after this, I think maybe it's not something wrong with Jacksonville. Maybe it's something wrong with me and how I live in my life. And I think that I should to look in Jacksonville from with a fresh looking and see how many I really have there. And I realize that I have all what I need here. I have some art classes, some improv classes, some dance classes, some great community, some cool people, some good events what's happened here, some museum and other opportunities. And I think, oh, it's good. We have ocean here, we have nice weather, it's savanna near us. We can visit Orlando with all these amazing parks, what I'm obsessed about them. And I think it's so great place. How I don't see this? And I begin to attend more parks, attend more cafes. I try to do is special. Because I think I should understand for myself, is Jacksonville for me or no? Because if no, maybe we should think about moving. But when I begin to see Jacksonville from this perspective, it shines with new colors. Mm-hmm. And now I like it so much. Yeah. And especially people. I don't know, maybe I can find the same surroundings somewhere. But now I think the best people here.
Yeah. I'm Scott DeVore with DeVore Capital Contracting, multi-service licensed construction company. We are a certified roofing and general contractor. We do everything from residential to commercial roofing and all other construction services. If you are a homeowner or a commercial building owner and you have any roofing needs from repairs to replacements to tarping, please reach out to us at 844-4DeVore or at the link below.
Yeah, and so you're in the around artists. I'm sure you've met most of the local people who have Ukrainian or background, but then even just regular old Jacksonville people, you seem to have kind of blended in and reached out and made relationships with all those different types of people. Yeah, it's a great city. It's very diverse. You got a lot of different cultures that come together. It's a really massive city. It's about the same size. About 1 million people live here, like from the city where you grew up, but it's so spread out. Yes. Like it's hard to really see all of Jacksonville because it takes forever to go. You can go to the beaches, to downtown, down to Orange Park or the West Side. It's a pretty massive expanse of a geography. Have you been to a football game? Have you seen the Jaguars play?
No,
Is that
never.
something you'll want to do?
Maybe it's like some fun for me, but I'm not so big fan of football. It's most like about a new experience, something like this.
Yeah, they're not very good, so you could probably get tickets for pretty cheap.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, but what do you like about downtown? So you live in downtown. Yeah, I like it downtown. It's a growing downtown, and they're really putting a lot of money to develop it to, rival a lot of the other big cities in the country. The stadium, they're going to put like $1.4 billion in a renovation there. Just outside of my office here, they got some projects slated for some of these open lots. But I'm sure living down here, for you, you probably prefer that than like living in the suburbs where, there's really not a whole lot. But even in downtown Jacksonville is not a very lively place. No, obviously nowhere near like what New York City is by any means. But there's more stuff happening downtown. It's good to know that the city itself, they bring in a lot of big artists for concerts. A lot of like traveling Broadway shows. There's a lot that happens in Jacksonville that people, outside of the city aren't really aware of everything that it has to offer. So I'm glad that there's those opportunities. Obviously, there's more to do, like in Orlando, which is about 2 hours away, or up to Atlanta, which is about 5 hours. But this city does have enough to keep you entertained, to enjoy it, to try new things. So I'm glad that you are enjoying your stay here. And I've lived here for a little bit longer than you. I've lived in Jacksonville for about 9 years, but it's
It changes
it,
during this time.
yeah. I was familiar with Jacksonville since the 1990s. My mom moved here in the late 90s when I was a freshman in college. So I would come and visit often. And even back then, I'm like, man, this is a great city. Like I thought I always loved the beach. But they had the football team came a few years after that. I thought that was pretty cool. But it is a really good city. Let me ask you about, you got any upcoming exhibits, any projects that you're working on? Like what's anything happening that you want to kind of discuss or promote?
Maybe not about promote, but discuss. I still work to my project American Dream through eyes of immigrant, because I want to show this amazing American dream. But when you immigrant, you should to work hard to have this American dream. And I want to show this like two sides of American dream for immigrant. Another project what I work, it's still about war in Ukraine, because it's even if I hear it's still with me, I always think about this, and it's like my therapy to do some stuff about this, because it's really helped me to like take my feelings and put it somewhere. And but this Ukrainian art I sell only for charity. But this about American Dream, it will be some exhibition maybe when I finish this project.
Okay. That's
And I
awesome.
also always want to have to take part in some exhibitions who take here or somewhere, and maybe I doing something like this
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, I want to wish you much success, and I know you're gonna keep creating, and you're gonna get more exposure, and your artistic influence is gonna spread. And when it does that, this piece of art that you made for me, this collage, I really appreciate you doing that. I asked you if you would be open to doing it, and you said yes, and I was so happy. And then when you told me that you made it and you brought it, I just want to thank you very much. So even if this thing is worth like $100 million one day, I won't sell it. All right. I won't even think about it. But I just want to thank you so much just for, you didn't have the American dream, but you're such an ambassador for immigrants, we'll say is I guess the right word, who come here, love this country, take a lot of pride in the work, and it's what makes America what it is. So thank you so much. Thank you for being part of the Free Factor podcast. How can people find your artwork? How can people reach out to you or find you on social media?
Oh, maybe we can add my Instagram on the captions.
Okay.
Maybe Instagram is better.
Okay. Yeah.
Like underscore.
Underscore. Yeah.
JUL underscore I underscore V. No, it's not good. It's not good.
We're gonna throw it as a caption, and we'll link it on the show. Any advice as we part for aspiring artists, for those who had a similar situation, fellow Ukrainians who are still there or needed to get out? Last words that you want to share?
You always should to follow your dream, and even if it's tough for time, it will be better. And you always should to trust yourself and follow your dreams.
Awesome. Well, Julia Ivanisova, did I say it right? All right. I was going to say Ivanisova. I don't know. Ivanisova. Oh my goodness. I apologize, man. I had it right the first time. Julia, thanks so much for joining. We'll definitely link your social media handles. Reach out to her, support artists. We need to support the creatives, because it's what makes life beautiful. This is Scott DeVore signing out. Free Factor. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, a bell button, all that good stuff. Until next time, peace out.
Real interviews, real guests, no actors. Real talk, get prepared for Free Factor.